Hey,
Hey.
what's going on?
Oh, not too much. We had some crappy weather down here in Texas last week, but now we're back up into the 70s with some 80s peeking in and sunshine. So when the weather's nice, it's hard not to be in a good mood.
Yeah, well, fuck you. So we don't get nice weather up here until May. So
Yeah. Yep.
sorry, we're probably going to get demonetized. Oh, wait, we don't get monetized. We got, doesn't matter. I'm here to talk about two things today. One is everybody's freaking out. Everybody needs to just take a step back, chill out, relax, go touch grass.
Yep. Open the windows.
Zoom out. So literally was talking in the podcast room with Manny, and it's like it's doom and gloom too, right? Like Manny's like, he's like, it's just everything's dead, it's dying, and I'm like, no, like you gotta look at where we're at compared to in relativity. Like, what's the big mover? Bitcoin's the big mover, right? Bitcoin's the one that we really want to look at. And you can look at a multitude of different, and you want to zoom out into higher time frames.
Yep.
So go to weekly, take a break, go back to weekly, because if you come down and you go on the 4 hour, you'll be like, oh my God, we're dying, right? I have this little death triangle here, which even in reality, this isn't really a death triangle. It's more of a, we're going to go a little lower, but I don't foresee us being, we're bullish all the way around. Like this should be one of your favorite indicators to see, like, are we still bullish? Are we not still bullish? Let me take this lagging span out because it just clutters up the screen. And your biggest thing to look at is where are we at in terms of the cloud, in terms of, the baseline and the conversion line. Like, we could come all the way down to 86 here and still be bullish, right? It's on this trend line in which, realistically, if you look at that, like, this is from the prior, 2021, tops that were out there. So look at where you're at in comparison to everything else. We're still bullish. Everything's still green. We're still upwards. Everything in the news about Bitcoin is still bullish. This is outside legacy market stuff putting pressure on it, and everyone wants to look at Sol too, like where it's at. Well, everything other than Bitcoin, I've said this from day one, is a shitcoin. Everything other than Bitcoin is a shitcoin. Like, unfortunately, like, Bitcoin drives this market.
Yeah.
And it's gonna look more like your 2017 market time frame, right? If Bitcoin's down, your alts and everything else, they're down, and there wasn't as many alts back here either, if you remember, if you were there.
Oh yeah.
Everything else is down a crap ton. So let's look at Sol. Sol's down. Even Sol itself, there's a lot of lines on that thing. Give somebody an aneurysm. Even Sol itself, it's still, while it has crossed the, your baseline and conversion line, there's still, apart. They haven't crossed yet. That's your indicator that, you definitely want to start to, like, maybe take some off the table. So weekly wise in Sol, we're still, this is just correction area and move up. I'm not bearish until I see the baseline and conversion lines start to cross, and then we get below the cloud. And then it's like, yep, we're probably over for a time frame. Time to move on to something else. But again, Bitcoin's going to drive that. Sol is going to move up incredibly fast compared to a lot of your other stuff. It's down, 47% from the top that it recently had, which
over what is that? You're on weekly, so that's the past 6 weeks.
The top was January 13th there. So and this was back in the summer, when we had this big dip and we had a pump and then a breakdown, and it was 47% as well. So, and then what did we do from there? We ripped up from being 47% down and went up 140%, right? And new all-time highs. So, and we crossed over. We even went to the cloud, but if you notice, the cloud itself, like, essentially held up as support too, this whole way. Like, this is the base of the cloud here, holding up. I look at this as, I don't trade normally off of a weekly. I look at it as trend for me, like, where are we sitting at?
Yeah.
So again, you can look at ETH. ETH sucks all the way around. It'll have its day still, but it, on a weekly looks horrible. I mean, it's in the cloud.
Mhm.
It had a good buy up from that. I would venture to say if we go below here, ETH is, I mean, it's just ugly. Like, but we've been saying that for a long time. Like, ETH is not there. And if you're looking at any other altcoins, Link still above the cloud. Anything that has any time frame to it, most of this stuff doesn't have much time frame. AVAX, it never got above the cloud. So I mean, it's bearish on the weekly overall, right? Mm-hmm. So when we really look at where we're at, Bitcoin's the king. So watch what Bitcoin does. Keep an eye on it, and it's not down. And this is because it's being propped up. You've got ETFs. You've got Saylor just bought $2 billion worth again of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
At 97,000 or 95,000, whatever it was that he bought it at. Bitcoin is currently down 13%. So it going down and touching that first the conversion line, it's a 20% dip. We've had 20% dips all the time. Yeah. So in a bull run, again in summertime, what did Bitcoin do? 20%, 33%. And it went all the way down to the baseline. So we could do the same thing here. Get me that out of here. Maybe. Get it to
Maybe.
Work. Yeah, what's that? No, 30%.
Yeah.
Would it hurt things? Hell yeah. I mean, Sol's going to be down at the 120 range, 130 range, easy if it hits down there. Like, so if not 100. But big picture. Big picture. Take a break. Breathe. We're still looking good. All crypto news is positive right now. Essentially, like even the hack. Okay, we just had the biggest hack.
Yeah.
In crypto history by a lot. Like it was like 15% or some crazy number of all hacks combined together, like actual hacks. So 1.4 billion or something. It was some insane amount.
Yeah. 1.5 is what
normally that's a 20% day. Like you're seeing 5-10% candles, right? We barely blipped. Even ETH was the one that was sold.
Yeah.
It barely blipped. It was like just another day. This is all legacy market driven. They're waiting for Bitcoin strategic reserve to come through. They're waiting for more economic stability to come through in the legacy market. So again, we're looking good. Chill out. Don't over leverage yourself.
Yep.
You'll be all right. Everything will be good. Lots of good things. Jay Soto says, I saw some posts about Binance selling ETH like crazy. Bro, everybody sells ETH like crazy. What else do you do with ETH? I mean, essentially, you've had, the Ethereum Foundation. This was a funny one. Somebody compared Ethereum Foundation and Pump.Fun. While the meme market in Sol has gotten out of control and crazy and just it's been, just gross. Some of the stuff that happened, last week, this weekend with the kid killing himself. Like that's just sad and unfortunate. It's just
so bad.
Yeah. That goes deeper, but really Pump.Fun, right? What it has done is brought like actual insane amounts of money into Solana, into the network, into crypto. Where the Ethereum Foundation, all they have done is literally sell ETH, right? They could do a lot more to it other than just sell ETH and, whatever, fund developers and do whatever they need to do. But, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. We're in a bull market. We're still in a bull market. Everybody needs to take a breath, chill out. North Korea strategic reserve. Yeah, that's exactly what it is now. Because apparently it was the North Korean hackers that they're the ones that stole it. So,
shit.
That vote to fork is trash. Yeah, I agree, Punjab. Like, it's just fun. It's just, kind of reminds me of the Bitcoin fork stuff back in 2017, and with Bitcoin Cash. That was hilarious, and that lasted. I mean, you still look at like the people that still think Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin, right? And it was block sizes and everything else that was going on there. But again, different times. We're completely different environment right now in terms of administration, the legacy markets, like where we're at with that. Like we haven't been here before, so
Yeah.
it'll be fun to watch this as it goes through. So yeah, I agree. It opens a Pandora's box for everything. So again, I mean, this was the original ETH and ETH Classic. That's what they did with Ethereum Classic. It was a fork because of the hack that went down, and everybody thought this was BS, right? Like you don't fork it back to the last block before the hack and give the money back, right? That's it's not the way things go. So, and you say OpenSpan, they already did it. Yeah, Lazarus Group, that was the hackers. Mm-hmm. But not much to talk about. Chill out. There's nothing much going on here. Just hodl. You'll be all right.
Yep.
We'll wait.
Yep.
Everybody in the pick'em, all your picks suck. Mine are still.
I even ran an update on the sheet just because no one's gonna be at their.
I might get lucky. I had USDC as one of my picks.
You did
by accident. So hey, there you go.
Yeah, one of like your 3. So at least you're still have $33.
Although those Bitcoin pickers, those people that pick the Bitcoin, they're doing all right. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Don't be embarrassed, man. Like everybody got hit this month, man. Everybody.
We had some months like that last year where no one, maybe one person was back at that $100 baseline.
Yeah. I mean, look at what happened. I mean, let's just look
at the summer.
Yeah, I know the summertime. Right here. This whole area right here. I mean, everybody got crushed in the summer. But before that, I mean, it was just Rip City, right? It was beautiful. So it's all good. It's all good.
There's time. Plenty of time.
So, all right. We're going to move that aside. A lot of people are getting worried. I get texts and phone calls, and people are like, what am I doing? Well, you should just be sitting on your hands right now, just waiting. Unless you have capital to deploy, and you're just raring to get in. Yeah, there you go. Buy the dip. Travis Ford, yo, how's it going? So I want to move on from here because the collective milestone for us last week, we got Ink Finance going. We got some proposals on the table. I want to talk through the proposals and a couple of things that got brought up, and we kind of discussed through those. So Blake, why don't you take us through those proposals?
Yeah, and before I even dive into the proposals, I'm just going to do kind of a quick for all those out there that either are in GG or aren't in GG. Just want to kind of give a walkthrough real quick on what the process is, how you go about voting, getting your GG tokens, and so forth. So if you were one of the people that invested with us on our seed starter, said this before, but there was an email sent out basically to gather the correct wallet address since we've shifted to AVAX. So we've had over half the people respond to us with that information. But for any of you out there that are seeing this that might not have, reach out to me directly. Make sure you're checking your spam folder of the email that you signed up with, and you should have those directions there. But once you've gone through that process, assuming you have, it's as simple as coming in here. You'll just click claim reward. You'll have a pop-up right here basically stating how many GG tokens you bought, and that's your allocation. As soon as you've done that, the one thing about voting is you need to stake one GG token per vote you want to participate in. So you'll come over to staking and pledging. If there's 3 proposals up right now, if you want to vote in all 3, make sure you just stake 3 tokens. The staking period is only a day. And then you'll get those right back. And then you can now participate in the votes. So the first 3 we threw up were kind of regarding what we want to do with the funds that we generated. So 2 of the first ones that we wanted to talk about was the Pierce T1 Titan and Deep devices. So starting with Deep, obviously we've been working hand in hand with them to a degree in NerdNode for quite some time, had some collaboration going back and forth. So we want to be in a position to buy 80 of these Deep devices. been working with Deep directly to secure a discounted price that we could buy those at. And then in the line of wanting to maintain a solid community structure, make sure we are, giving back to the Deep community, considering what we're kind of getting in benefits from those savings. We want to give back that saving amount of 30 something thousand dollars in GG tokens directly to the Deep community once their DAO is organized. That gives them stake in what we're doing in GG and kind of provides and fosters hopefully that positive interaction between the two communities.
Yeah, hold on. I want to a couple questions coming through. So, actually, I'll let you finish that, but I want to touch on Deep before you go to the next one. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So if you come in here, the voting process is as simple as you'll go to cast your vote. And you'll be able to select yes or no. If you do want to decide no on any proposal that has these articles right here, this is something that doesn't make necessarily a difference, but it allows us on the kind of governance side to get a better feel for what the community thinks. If you disagree with it, maybe you disagree with the whole thing, maybe you disagree with just one portion of, you don't like the operational plan or whatnot. So you can decide if you vote no, what it is about it that you don't like. That way we're making sure we have, all of the information of what our community wants in regards to how GG runs. You'll notice here, this is a kind of a testing wallet. So there's no votes or GG tokens held in this wallet, but you'll come through, put in your one vote, since you do get one vote per wallet within the GG ecosystem, and cast your vote. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. I got caught up too with the staking side. So, and I know he said that you got to stake one token per vote. So it's three tokens you need to stake for all three of these. But so on the Deep devices, he went over and said, essentially it's a cost in cash, and then it's the cost that's coming through in the GG side. And really that comes down to one, Deep itself is already selling their devices at when you consider, marketing and everything else that we're putting into it, it's close to a break even. And we have been working with GG members and the GG collective for quite a while, both with NFTD, Mooncast, these people within it, and we want to be a part of that from the Deep side. So and so we were open to the idea, and this purely came from internals. Like the idea of the acquisition of Deep was not me. This actually, I think Tim was the one that brought it up.
Yeah.
And so, I brought it to the guys. They were 100%. They were like, yeah, I think that's a great deal to come on board. And then the Deep network now has a stake within the GG collective, right? And they have a voting right. They have some earning potential there, but also it just forges a relationship with other people that want to be able to build on Deep, whether it's comes through the GG collective, which would be awesome, or it comes from Deep and they want to be a part of the GG collective. We got a lot of games that are reaching out to us in terms of and gaming ecosystems. So again, love to kind of keep that cohesive relationship going. I think this really does that. So that's there. And if you vote no, that's great. There's a reason why, and if you feel the need to, we would love to hear why you vote no. And or just have the discussion like we have within the Discord that's going on right now. You can come in and chat about questions you might have, or just anything. Like, what does it mean? What's the idea? So they were talking about shipping. Shipping costs are $35 on average in the US. $50 for EU. I think that we're doing stuff to hopefully try to avoid the VAT charges so that those don't come through. So a lot of things that are happening there. So go in and join that discussion. So and let us know what you think. Make sure you get your vote in. When does the votes end?
Friday at noon Central. It's either noon or 1 p.m. Central. It's in the announcements in our Discord. Or as you can see there.
Cool.
Just under 5 days on the dot. So yes, noon.
And Jay said, we'll touch on some soul stuff that you guys are bringing up here at the end of the podcast too. We'll talk about the unlocks and stuff. So
yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go to Star Atlas.
Yeah. So one of the other big ones, this is one that the GG community was really big on, and something we really pushed from the beginning is, we think the Star Atlas community, we think the ecosystem, the way they're building that game is a huge setup for success. They're bounce back from everything that happened with the FTX. They're building in the bear market. They've proven to be a really solid company in the Web3 space and are really teetering on that edge of dominating the game side. So we wanted to secure the T1 as a part of the collective. That was something that we, had talked about in our initial funding that we wanted to raise these funds for, was to secure this asset. We didn't raise enough funds to buy it outright, but we were able to essentially acquire it individually, so that we did have access to that, so to speak. So this proposal, essentially seeks to take money from the raised funds and acquire a 5% stake in the T1. That way, the GG would then be in charge of the management and control of it. We've talked about in this proposal here, the members of the collective will essentially be able to put forward their own proposal on, hey, I want to operate it for this next quarter, and here's the reasons why. This is what I'll be able to do with it. This is what I think we can generate. And then they will get a management fee cut right off the top from whatever the T1 generates. And then the GG would have a 5% stake in those total earnings, essentially in perpetuity. So, this is another one that we think it's a cool opportunity for the GG to have at least some degree of stake in one of the most powerful assets in the Star Atlas ecosystem, as well as fixing the asset price, so to speak. So as GG continues to generate funds, if it's something they want to buy more of or get more ownership in that, they'll be able to without a price increase from the asset itself.
Yeah, so they asked the price in here. So I am the purchaser of the T1. So I purchased the T1. Essentially, what I'm wanting to do is give the opportunity to the collective to own a portion of it. We're valuing it at 1 million. I'm valuing it at 1 million. So you don't get to know the purchase price because it was a private sale. Had the collective been able to purchase the whole thing, then we would have divulged the actual purchase price overall for it. So, but I am valuing it at 1 million for the collective. One of the things that we want to do is I'm going to keep that for down the road for any future acquisition of the Titan, if the collective so wants to do that.
Yeah.
And that's just me me doing what I want to do for the collective to kind of push it forward. So, and part of that is also, in this is the collective being the management. So,
yep.
This is up on. Go ahead. You do it. No.
So it could be, right? So there's one thing that we do outside of the T1 directly. We were working directly with the Star Atlas team, with Sly, Groove, and Anthony, to essentially build out and help facilitate the building of the lending platform for Star Atlas. So twofold. Yes, if the GG decides to get it, that could be an option. We could simply, rather than even rent it out and manage it ourselves as the collective, the GG could decide, hey, we want to just rent this through the lending platform to the highest bidder for however much and earn X amount a day. We also would be able to rent it directly to the manager themselves of whoever might be managing that asset. There are going to be some kinks and stuff we might have to work out as far as if we go that rental side. I think the other probably more feasible route of GG members managing it would be using a Lancer wallet and the Sly tools to essentially have someone else manage it without it ever really leaving our wallet, so to speak. And then we would just obviously track on chain what the earnings were, and do that management and revenue split from there directly. So there's a couple different options we're going to be able to pursue. We'll have to see what GG decides. If they decide right now, it looks like people are wanting it. If the vote ends that way, then, we can definitely really start talking through all the potential options on how we want to get that managed directly, and go from there.
So, question from Nicholas is, how do we join the group? Well, the group is open in terms of Discord, and you can be a part of the the discussions of everything that's going on there. The initial sale for the collective has closed. We do plan on doing more down the road. Right now, the GG tokens are being distributed to the initial investors that came in. We did an investment with through SeedStarter. We ended back in July of last year, and so these tokens actually are locked up and can't move outside of being sent to the actual investors until July. Once that's done, then they're free to move those around. Whether if there's a secondary market that comes about for those, that can happen as well. We don't control that. That's not in our hands. The only thing that we can control is the tokens that we sell internally if we decide to sell those, right, as another fundraise, which we most likely will do. And so, you can find out a lot in our Discord. Nicholas, come in there. You can ask questions. Essentially, it's a gaming down. So we're really trying to focus on the gaming aspect. A lot of us were born from the Gala Games side of things and came together and really kind of were the ones that developed this. Met a whole bunch of cool ass Star Atlas people. I ended up buying a T1, obviously, and then just involved ourselves within Star Atlas. But also we've got a whole bunch of different gamers, game developers that are going on in there too. So it's just kind of a cool, tight-knit group right now, and the idea is sharing the revenue from these games that can, really, help create a larger pool with many people. So
absolutely, yep, absolutely. And outside of doing another sale for the tokens or whatnot, something that we will discuss and vote on as a community are, there might be things we want to pay for in GG, whether that be people coming in and providing some sort of value to the collective. We've discussed potentials of being able to, essentially earn that for being a value community member. So these are things that obviously will get discussed and talked about more in the summer once we're at that unlock period and freed up from the kind of SEC guidelines for the type of raise that we created.
I don't think you're ever freed up from SEC guidelines.
No. The initial,
the fundraise side.
My fundraise window. Yes.
We'll I'll have Blake ping the Discord link in the chat. So, Nicholas, you can come join us. So one of the things that was brought up is, what is a quorum? What do we need for quorum in these votes within the collective to go through? And it's 30%, and it's 30% of GG token holders. So right now, the GG collective holds all of the tokens, and we are now distributing. So people, when they claim them and they're actually the holders of the token, they count as the token holders, and they will count as the votes. So currently right now, I think we're about 50%, like Blake said, of people that have claimed. And so you'll need which is 40 individual people. I think then that comes down to whatever that is, 24. Oh no, that's out of 80. So we have 40. We're looking at 30. So 12. Is that all we need?
Yeah, it's 12. Okay, 13.
So we'll be at quorum for most of these, which is great. But I'd love to see 100% of people participate that collect their tokens. So obviously, it's not just about collecting the revenue that comes through. That's a part that we really want to make available to people, but we really want people to participate. And we've been pretty quiet because we've been trying to get this Ink Finance, and we went from Sol to AVAX. We lost developers. Like, it's been quite the journey over the last 9 months.
Yeah.
But we got this up and running. We're super stoked. We got a bunch of things on board. We got the rental system that's coming into play. March 5th, that starts. So that's going to be a revenue stream that can come to the collective.
Yep.
It's going to be, it'll be a big deal. So, and then we got Star Atlas. If the devices for Deep come through, we've got TGE will happen in a, I won't put dates in, but it will happen.
It will happen. We can get a leak.
It almost did. I was wondering. Yeah. Yes. So, you're going to have the ability to support that network, which is awesome. Oh, did we talk about how we're trying to get those devices into the individual owners? Like,
We
did you?
we didn't, but that's
Okay.
something I'd
So here's the idea: decentralization of things. Like what we want to do with the devices, right? Is first and foremost give the opportunity for these GG Collective members, GG token holders, to host this in their home, and we'll do a rev share with them. So basically, we'll send it to you, you plug it in, and then it'll be a rev share between GG Collective and you, whatever comes through on that. So you'll get that rev share just for being a collective owner. So there's going to be some requirements in terms of like internet access and power, being able to have an uptime, because the collective wants to make sure that they're all up and running. And then the leftovers, we've struck up a deal with a collective member who has access to basically a server room that he has enough internet and whatnot to be able to host enough of the leftovers. And then, again, sharing in revenue with that person, also allowing the collective to earn on all 80 of those devices. But we would love to decentralize as much as possible. So the more collective people that come in to take those, the better, and put those in your home. So,
well, and like you said, I mean, is assuming you have the necessary, electricity and internet uptime and things to be able to run it efficiently. We think it's a great opportunity to get devices in the hands of people that either couldn't afford them, were on the edge of potentially buying one from Deep. Really opens up our community to getting more involved with the Deep ecosystem if they didn't necessarily have that, availability.
for sure.
So it's a great way to get involved and, essentially kind of get another, passive income source, so to speak, without the upfront cost, so to speak.
Yep.
So great opportunity for people in the collective. And like you said, obviously fits with the idea of decentralization if we have them dispersed amongst all of our members.
Yeah. So, so if you got questions, like get in the Discord and, have some discussion. Earther's been asking a bunch of questions. A couple other people are asking questions. It's awesome. Like,
yep.
If you're a token holder, come in and be a part of that. Your voice is, we want your voice to be heard, and suggestions and everything else. So, please join us. So
absolutely.
I am going to go and answer the question on Sol stuff, and then I'm going to end this podcast kind of early, just because not a whole lot more to talk about, but plus makes it easy. So, Joe Soto asked, Sol unlocks. So, the unlocks essentially are from the people who purchased the debt of FTX, from what I understand. So they had all the crap that went through. So people came in, they purchased the debt of FTX. They took hold of the Solana. Everybody that's getting a refund, they get their refund in cash. So they're getting money in refunds, and they're getting it, unfortunately, for everybody that has a price point that's way higher. They're getting less than what the actual token was worth if they would have had their token still. So, but those unlocks are supposed to start in March. And I think it's to the tune of, 2 billion in March, which is quite a bit. But most of the time those are done OTC. So you won't see it just tank the market, right? It's definitely not going to help, but it's not going to, you're not just going to see a $2 billion market dump like Germany did with Bitcoin over the summer. If any of you remember that, like they literally just went to the open market. It's like, do you guys not know what OTC is? So, and you can get OTC deals and help, distribute that load out so it doesn't just tank the market. So that's most likely what is going to happen with those larger orders that come through. So, and will I buy Sol at these prices? Would I buy Sol at these prices? I'm a little sour on Sol in terms of what it did. Let's see. Let's pull the chart up here. Add to stage. I'm a little sour with them in terms of like what the meme market obviously has done. Like, I'm a free market guy. I love it. You should be able to do whatever the heck you want. It's gotten crazy and like just straight, in your face, stealing of funds essentially, or not stealing.
Oh yeah.
But just manipulation of markets and, pump and dumps, which it's always been there, but now it's just like literally in your face to the point where it's the last token we talked about, which was the Libra token, it was like dead in like 24 hours, right? They had the whole thing that came out of there, and it just, some of the stuff was pumped up fun. I don't know. It's not super stoked about it. And I talked about this before this was coming through. Like, Solana is built on meme coins. Like, nobody's building like real building stuff on Solana in terms of like, you've got Star Atlas in a game that utilizes Star Atlas. You have a ton of, and I've been deep in the deep in, but there's lots of deep in, and I'll put it in quotations, that are coming out on Solana, but all they're doing is dropping their token on Solana. Yeah. They just have a token on Solana. They're not actually utilizing Solana's blockchain for anything. Like with Deep, we're actually utilizing AVAX in our own layer 1 and adding the blockchain for actual use within our ecosystem. Like, we utilize it for, SLAs and identifying, uptime and, what devices are where. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're putting into it. Like, we're actually utilizing it, and AVAX made it way easier for us. Solana is purely just right now, like, the amount of money that's in it is for the pump and dump schemes. And is it dead? No, it'll run, it'll still do its thing. Again, we're taking a little dip, but it's what happens in all these markets. It's not dead, but I'm also not excited about the environment to be in. So no, I'm not buying it here. I'm diversifying into personally AVAX, because we're building a lot on it. There's a lot of builders going there. Ondo, because I like the RWA kind of stuff that they have going on. But yeah, I think it's there's just a lot of other places you can put your money, but it's not dead. I'll put it that way.
And from the building side, that's one of the reasons GG decided, or we decided to switch from Sol, is you're either a Solana developer or you can develop everything else, because they're so different in how, like, the programs versus smart contracts. If you're dealing with an EVM chain versus Solana, I mean, it's really niche almost. And yeah, like you said, I mean, it's just difficult to build on compared to building real things is harder to build on Solana.
So Jay Soto asks, is AVAX a good time? Well, right now, I mean, everything you always want to buy on, when it's on dips, you always want to buy on dips, but it's like, if I look at the chart is bearish, right? And this is big long-term, right? This is when, like, you want to start to allocate, you wanted to start to allocate as it started to get in terms of a long-term hold when you're in the cloud, right? So it's messing around with the clouds getting thinner. We'll move up. Once it moves up and gets above this point in time, that 40 mark is a really safe time frame, I would say, because we now have a green cloud. As long as it'll probably dip back through again, just because it'll the lag of this dip here. So technically, I would not buy here on AVAX. I would wait for some more signals to come through for me personally, on terms of just technicals. On everything else with AVAX, I love what they're doing, right? And the amount of builders that are coming to AVAX, and not just crypto side, but like in the legacy or Web 2 industry, like, they're choosing that because they have more control over their own layer 1. And every layer 1 that gets put out on AVAX, they put out their own validators for it. Take Beam, for instance. They sold 53,000 nodes, and all of those nodes can be validators. They won't all be, because you can dedicate your node to a different validator. But if they have 1,000 validators, every one of those validators on the Beam network has to pay 1.33 AVAX as a fee per month to get, I believe it gets burned. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I need to check on that. But they get 1.3 that they have to pay. So they're utilizing the AVAX network, internally for each one of those. And there's hundreds of companies that are building layer 1s with AVAX. So I like what they're doing there. I would wait for a little more of a reversal signal on AVAX before I would jump in on that. So personally. All right. What else we got here? I think we're good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let me go back here.
Yeah, I think that.
I just want to leave it here. Remember, zoom out. and I have the bars on here, right? So you can see this is, your prior bull markets, right? 1,000 days, 756 days, right? Currently, we're sitting at 800 days, right? This is your normal 1,000 days. So we're not there yet.
Nope.
Now, it could potentially be here if we go back into this range, right? Where it was the top. But even there, that's still, we've got a couple months left, even if it is. So take the dip, play with it. I think we see somewhere along those lines where we would probably top out. But yeah, zoom out, take a break, and you'll be good. Anyways,
yep,
we'll leave it there.
Love it.
All right, join the GG Discord, join the Deep Discord. Come and get involved, chat with us, and we'll catch you guys soon.
Absolutely. Look forward to hearing from you guys.
Take care, everybody.